yeah.
Oh, you were gone?
Yeah, I was gone for a bit, leaving you there high and dry.
was it?
Just
Cool.
chitter chatter
Cool.
by yourself. But you seem to be able to pull it off, so that's good. I was actually just getting back into the game. So we have both teams lined up here. And you know what? Because I was focusing on setting up that stuff, everything you said just flew over my head.
Oh, okay. So I mean, I'll just talk a bit about the Gamania Bears and how they made it out of the losers bracket and what they're known for. It's all about their mid lane. Like to me, their mid lane is the one that makes the plays. Maple, he plays those like I think we're discussing this earlier on before the game. His mid lane strategies, you know, high assassin type champions. You know what? We'll talk about this more as the game progresses, but first, let's go into Champ Select with Azubu Taipei Snipers on the blue team, and on the purple side, it will be the Gamania Bears.
So, did you mention about how this format is going to be? It's a best of five, right? And the Azubu Taipei Snipers are going to be having that one-game lead from coming out of the winner's bracket. So Gamania here has to win three games, whereas the Taipei Snipers only have to win 2.
That's right. So early bans, Jarvan now, like I was saying, they don't like dealing with kind of high engaged composition. So Jarvan, Shen, Elise, very easy to come onto your team once they get some sort of CC. Did that just sound wrong? Okay. Zed, Evelyn, and Lee Sin, on the other hand, you see, they don't want that sort of control over Maple. I mean, that's very apparent for the type of picks you have. Zed, Evelyn, and Lee Sin can easily disrupt that pick-off comp. You can't lock down Lee Sin that easily, neither can you on Evelyn, because she can disengage with Agony's Embrace. Now,
so they're trying to get out the counters to their assassin team competition.
That's right. And if they don't want Maple to have this very, don't want to contest in pressure, then ban out that Zed. They've been doing it all season for themselves. So great. The Orianna Open,
so interesting that they picked an Orianna first pick. I mean, how likely would it have been that Gamma Bears would have picked up an Orianna? I mean, it's not part of their repertoire.
Wow, that's a big word.
Yes, I have big words that I keep for times when I want to impress people.
Right, it's not part of their normal rotation that they like to play out.
Right.
Because, like I was saying, assassin-type comps. And with that, they kind of let Zac and Thresh, 2 highly contested picks, just thrown into the hands of the Bears. Now, that might come and bite them in the butt later on in this game.
Lots of butt biting happening. Because I think Zac is a really strong pickup. Obviously, we saw how HQ knew how to deal with him.
Right, and it's not just here. It's all over, like every single region. If whoever gets Zac usually has this big advantage just because his skill set is insane. And I like how they're showing their bottom lane hand already here for the side of TPS. We know that God JJ can play almost any type of AD carry.
They're absolutely not afraid to get those champs out there. They're going to leave their top lane and the jungler to the last, and
that's a lot of, that's going to be good because they know that Zonda needs to get something which helps him win his lane.
Right.
Like he loves playing unconventional things in the top lane, which is something new for them. It could be that Diana top. I'm quite sure he likes playing. He plays like the weirdest things. Olaf, Xin Zhao.
Olaf, and Xin Zhao.
So
definitely not the usual champions that you see.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because his range of champions is so large. And the last time we talked about something like this, it was something like Stan Lee. Stan Lee was the man who knew everything in top lane.
Oh man, I missed that guy.
Yeah. And
Kennen.
This will be good. Kennen is nice. It's still a staple within this season where people are still loving that AoE damage. Combined with Mistake, who's going to be on Sona, that's mass. This speaks teamfight.
Rammus, so the Kennen I like because if he's going to be going up to that top lane, he's going to be able to deal with Zac. Like, Zac is a champion that destroys a lot of bruises just through pure sustain. Like, he sustains himself through the early levels when he's not that strong, and then when he's big and he's actually gotten his level 6 abilities, it's so difficult to push him out of lane. Kennen counters that. He's going to be able to push him out and bully him.
Definitely. They have a lot of means of sending that ball from next ABC. Next ABC, you're going to run that Orianna. And, you know, it's not our first time dealing with next ABC. You're like casting his games as well, because long time ago, he used to be on the Azubu Taipei Assassins as a sub, and he would play from time to time. So we know that his Orianna has been one of his go-to champions as well. I'm surprised, you know, but I'm still surprised that they first picked that, because
Orianna as a first pick.
It's a bit strange. He's going to go up against Maple, who plays at Ahri, and that's another assassin-type champion.
Right.
So I expect that either the early Deathfire Grass and high roll potential.
I mean, there's a couple of strategies that you can go when you're going for that first pick. Like the things that could go through your mind as you're going for that first pick. First of all, you might pick a champion that everybody wants, like a very highly contested champion. So you want to go for that as your first pick so that the opposing team doesn't get it. Obviously, Orianna wasn't that. Secondly, you might want to pick a champion that doesn't reveal your team composition.
Right.
Or doesn't reveal what you have in mind for your next couple of picks. But Orianna also doesn't do that. So this pick of Orianna as the first pick, it kind of baffles me.
It could be a bait. I mean, I was thinking maybe it's a bait. They want to pull something which can bully Orianna out of lane. Because we know that next ABC is pretty... He's very, very fluent. I think, yeah. He's really good control over his Orianna in lane. It might be that he's trying to bait out a strategy from the Gamania Bears. But then again, they kind of play into that same strategy. They still have a ball delivery system. They're going for AoE team fights.
Actually, you might be right. You might be very correct there. Now that I think about it, that might have been the bait for the Zac.
For the Zac, yeah.
And it could also have been the bait in the sense that it let the Azubu Taipei Assassins pick up... Sorry, not the Assassins. Wow. Azubu Taipei Assassins. Right, I can't speak properly. Somebody
the Azubu
please
Taipei
give
snipers.
me speaking lessons. Right, anyways. I think that they might have picked up the Orianna just so that they could pick their jungler and their top laner last.
Yeah, that I think has to be...
Because other than that, there's no really good reason to pick Orianna first.
So does Ka. Yes, I agree. And so the Bears going in very early, but you know, Mistake, his awareness on that map, always pristine. Even in Season 2, it was like, bam, always on the ball. So they've already been spotted, and TPS is ready. I think they will not fall for that trick which their sister team did in the first game today in GPL, where
engaging against
Zac. Yeah, you got Zac, Ari, and Thresh. No way you're going near that combo at level 1. And the thing about Rammus at the start is that if you get a very weak opening, he'll fall off real fast.
Oh yes,
yeah,
yes. Rammus is so vulnerable to getting counter jungle.
Yeah, he doesn't have the best clear times, but he does bring a 3-second CC to all across the map at high speed velocity. Need for speed, Rammus style. That's how he goes.
The way this team composition works is that really Rammus is...
He's a hard tank.
Yeah, he's going to just be the tank. That's going to allow Kennen to focus mainly on damage, you know.
Right.
So that he doesn't really have to worry about there not being a front line to take care of him. I think that's going to be very important.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a matter of them getting that lane advantage. You generally want Rammus so that you can go for very easy, quick kills in the laning phase.
Yeah, he's got some pretty strong ganks. I mean, even though we haven't seen Rammus in a long time, he's still got some gank ability.
Yeah, not at least in the Southeast Asian region, we haven't seen Rammus, but internationally, he's still a pretty good pick. Like, people generally like him. And here, Zonda getting helping Oriel out, like just early on getting some wolves.
No, this is a great move because he realizes that there's that 2 versus 1 at top, and I'm not going to get any farm in the lane. I'm just going to get zoned out. Why not just pick up the wolves, you know?
Might as well.
And this lane swap here, initiated by Gamania, is basically to prevent that Kennen pick from just destroying Zac.
Right, but this is how Azubu Taipei snipers respond. They are not afraid. They know that it could have happened, and therefore they've already braced themselves. They have a strategy behind it, and that's how you know they are a team that is ready to go to Worlds. You know,
they are so prepared. I mean, you could see that they didn't even panic. They were not like, where are we going to go? They just started farming wolves, and then...
close to no resistance in that sense. I love that idea.
And Kennen's going to do a little bit better in that 2 versus 1 lane. Obviously, he's not going to be dominating Zac like what would happen if they were going up one-on-one, but he is going to be doing pretty decently. Elastic slingshot right onto Mistake there.
Yeah, but 2 versus 1, generally the idea is it's either 2 ways. One is the turret rush, which doesn't happen so often anymore because of new armor buff they've given. Not that I think it's really that much of a big deal, but at the same time, you could always use that 2v1 to starve your opponent's solo laner, which in this case, it's going to hurt Zac slightly more because Zac definitely needs items. While I feel like Kennen, because his base damages are pretty good, he's going to be able to sustain at least that mid game, and then he'll fall off if he doesn't get items in the late game, which is a big difference. He's a
caster, so he relies a little bit more on the level of his abilities. at the start at least. Of course, he needs those items later on, but Kennen doesn't have the greatest scaling, so if he doesn't have big items, I think most importantly is that he wants to pick up that Zonias.
It's going to be about the Rammus who has better early game gank. Yeah, Rammus is all about the better early game ganks, while Nocturne, he can afford to go.
Oh, in comes the Elastic Slingshot. They managed to lock onto Mistake. They're going to go for that Fear. Mistake, they're trying to stay alive, will go down. Now they've got that red buff. God, JJ could be in trouble here. Flashes away. Still has the barrier to keep himself safe. Gamma Bez with a nice early game play here.
Right, so that's why I think he tried to use the exhaust to escape, but the tethers from what's that, Nocturne, Unspeakable Horror, it couldn't let Mistake go.
Right.
And therefore first blood's given to them. At least it was Sona, but still you don't really now that you know Stick was actually staffed off at the beginning. It's not happening.
He missed the tilde over Peacemaker. That just barely tickled Zac.
Not big enough. So it's a bit sad that Stake managed to get that first blood, and in that sense, or at least got the first blood assist. In that sense, Cannon's going to be on losing out now because he is going to be behind on that goal.
He's going to have a lot more turret pressure. Look at the turret just beginning to just crumble.
So this early pressure by the Bears seems to be paying off. They are getting that turret lower than what TPS has been initiating. And in that sense, their strategy is working out better. Now the question is, when Maple hits 6, if they get that turret down by then, that RE roam potential is going to be just immaculate. They will be able to just get so much more picks off that top lane, off that mid lane, and even in that bottom lane, because Mistake will have to spend just so much more on ward in the meantime to prevent those RE picks.
Meanwhile, they managed to pick up a kill over at the top. I was just looking there as Mistake actually took a couple of tower hits. That was bad for them. Great gank though, coming in from O'Real.
Yeah, so O'Real with the backup after Sora went in just a bit too deep there. Wins here is going to try to go for a bit of a counter steal. Not going to make a big difference. He needs to get to that level 6 as fast as possible. So farming up the jungle, definitely what he wants. While O'Real, on the other hand, wants to manage to pick up those mobility items, or at least some sort of tankiness to get around the map. It's either he is able to go under the turret, or he's going to catch up people before they can even escape.
It's very interesting that he's built up the Mandra's Razor.
Yeah, the Mandra's
I would have imagined him building up for the Spirit Golem.
Right, yeah, the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, that is generally the item you want to go for if you are creating, what's that called?
Tanky
yeah, creating a very tanky build. In this case, I think Rammus wants to go like with some damage as well, and therefore he will.
And look at that Crystalline Flask. This is the most unique jungle build I have ever seen.
Real, man. He's all real.
Yeah, this is all real, in fact.
Yeah.
I've never seen a jungler pick up a Crystalline Flask, really.
Right. I would normally think that Ramesses want to go for that mobility boots at the start.
Right.
And just like, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Or at least the Kindle Gem. But I guess cooldowns aren't that big of an issue for Rammus. So that's why he doesn't really want to pick up.
It's not that big a deal.
Right.
It's not that big a deal.
Because you don't normally get to cast your spells twice in an engagement as Rammus.
Yeah, it's just wise timing, and I think that's the biggest part about it. So O'Real here going to get the red buff. I think he wants to gear up a bit more first, a bit tankier in that sense, because Gamania, they do have a lot of things that can deal with under turret pressure if you don't get that taunt off immediately. If you notice, every one of them has some sort of CC they can deal with a Rammus incoming.
So they swapped lanes here. They didn't actually push and pick out that turret. Stake is going to go for the jump on Zonda. I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to survive this trade here, or rather whether he's going to win this trade. Oh, he wants to go all in here. Zonda is going to back off. Stake is super aggressive in this lane.
He had to try it because at that point in time, Zonda was not 6. So if you're not 6...
Oh, and in comes the gang over at that bottom lane. God, JJ in big trouble.
Youch.
Gonna get taken out by Wins. Wins with another successful gang. And I think you're right, you know, Zonda wasn't level 6, and then now that Zonda is 6, or rather 7, he's gonna just bully Stake. So Stake wanted to take the chance, try to drive him out of lane. Didn't do so successfully.
Oh, nice.
And now we're gonna see the power of Kennen against Zac.
Yeah, Kennen, and They swapped it just because I think both Sora and NL, they managed to get that slight advantage above. They wanted to bring it to the ball lane, and now they have that dragon security, where Rammus is not the best at doing the dragon.
No,
you know,
not at all.
Yeah, because he doesn't have that combat potential that he can bring to bring the dragon out faster. That's something that Nocturne performed slightly better, and that was a good call from the Bears to bully out, kill off that bot lane. It's still squishy, and you know, Nocturne at the start, even if you're not building any tanky items, if you're not building any damage items, you're still gonna have some output, just because Dustbringer increases your attack damage.
Right, so apparently I need to switch on colorblind mode. Here we go.
Oh, no wonder I wasn't looking at things properly.
Oh, now you can see things properly.
Oh, is it?
I didn't realize you were colorblind.
Oh no.
So we got O'Real here, trying to go for the gang on that top lane. I'm pretty sure he didn't make it up there undetected.
No, that ward right there, that sneaky little ward that only has a bit of life left. I think the Bears are doing pretty good, but if TPS is anything like old school TPA,
right,
when Mistake was still on it and the rest of like Toys, Stanley, they were never about the laning phase, were they? They were all about
coming back in the late game.
Yeah, they were the 4K goal, like, oh no, we're 4K goal behind. Let's team fight and win this, guys.
I don't know. The Taipei Assassins back then had such a great reputation for their team fighting ability. And I believe like the Taipei Snipers under the guidance of Mistake, as the shot caller, also to a certain extent have that heritage, that team fight ability.
Yeah, and it kind of shows in their picks as well. Like I was saying, you know, they really are displaying their entire strategy. It's just a matter of whether they can execute it. They've got the whole AoE wombo combo, suck you in with slicing Maelstrom. They can do that. If they pull it off, it's going to be devastating. And I don't think any sort of CC would stop it.
It's a big difference this match because HQ, or rather Gamma Bears, can't do what HQ did before because they don't have the same kind of disengage.
Right,
they don't have the Ezreal. Oh, Varus here got away, and he flashes away from that crescendo. He used the dart passes to just get out of range of O'Real.
So in that
there's a little bit of a fight coming up here as Zonda engages with Stake. What he doesn't know, or probably is aware of now, is that Maple is on the way up there. Maple has that Spirit Rush. He's going to go in. A little bit of miscommunication there as Stake backed off, but Maple will pick that kill up with little issue.
He didn't any help, man. He had the Unity large rod.
Right.
And that's all that you really need to go in.
I guess it was quite neededly large because it helped out.
It was
necessarily large rod.
Yeah, the non-arbitrary rod. It had purpose. It had purpose.
Oh, down goes the turret at the top. Stake picks that up.
And with any luck.
Oh, and they're gonna go for a bit of a fight here.
We'll see Maple start to use that Ari rope.
Oh, Mistake gets caught out here. He's gonna drop the box right on his head. Gamania's NL there picks up the kill very nicely. Good micro on that kill.
Very nice prediction of where Mistake would go though. That death sentence spot on, and securing a kill there for NL and Sword Art. Just simply amazing. Yeah, sure that Varus did pick up that kill. Like NL didn't get the bounty, but he goes home richer than Caitlyn, and that's what matters.
This bottom lane is really starting to bleed for the Azubu Taipei snipers.
Yeah. My gut feeling though is that God JJ he is gonna wait it out and hold for that late game. There is no reason why they shouldn't.
Where are you gonna go? You're gonna be able to get away from this. The fear comes in and he flashes straight away.
So yeah, it forces the flash there. Not much choice. It was either that or death.
Gamma Bears are really putting the pressure on here.
Yeah, and that is so their style. I mean, when you have pick-off comp, you don't want it to go to those team fights. As it stands, their team fight potential might not be the best because yes, Ari has AoE damage, but she can get locked down as well. And once that happens, it's not going to be the prettiest of images for them. As opposed to something like Azubu Taipei snipers here, who can kind of help peel for God JJ in just 1,000,001 ways. They've got so much in their arsenal that will allow God JJ to just deal DPS from the outskirts.
So the Azubu Taipei snipers here are really coming down to this wombo combo team comp, something that their sister team didn't manage to pull off. Will TPS be able to pull it off instead?
Right, and if their team fights don't work out well, I'm gonna say that getting that first pick Orianna was the bane of it because they let Zac through. They let Zac and Thresh through, and those guys have very strong initiation and team fight presence. So we'll have to see. I mean, I still feel like, yeah, they wanted to bait out with that Orianna pick, but if it doesn't pay off, then there's no point baiting.
Yeah, the lane swap really served Gamma Bears really well, because after that Steak comes in. Steak has been having a field day against Zonda. Jumps right in on him with a Let's Bounce. Zonda just forced to back off, and Steak took almost no damage.
And you know, that's the thing. You know, when Cannon goes up against Zac, when he goes with the Let's Bounce, this patch, tenacity still reigns on an ultimate.
Right.
So you're looking at a really, really difficult choice to make. Do you pop that Slicing Maelstrom to trade for damage, but lose the stun effect? That's the big question. And look at that, Wind's already picking up that early oracles. This 15-minute mark oracle kind of signals like, hey, we're going to go deep, we're going to go hard, we're going to pick you off before you even know it.
Right, and Steak just stole the blue buff. That's going to hurt them.
And this is exactly two opposing strategies where it could work in anyone's favor. On one hand, you have the Azubu Taipei snipers who are waiting, they're holding it out, they're trying their best just to pick up their farm and get those core items. But on the other hand, you have the Gamania Bears. Now these guys, they pick up Deathfire Grasp from the Ari way ahead of the time. They've got Nocturne picking up Spirit of the Ancient Golem so that he can go under those turrets, make those dive plays.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with this trade. They're going to go for the Dragon, and they're going to be losing that top lane turret.
You know what? I think...
Oh, they're going to go for the engage. The Crescendo comes in. NL gets caught out, but the beautiful Dark Passage there keeps him alive. In comes Uriel from behind, though. He wants to finish this one off. Gets the taunt onto Sword Art. Wrong person right there. NL is still miraculously alive, and next ABD is going to get taken out by Maple. Maple saves NL, and now the Taipei snipers are forced to back off. Meanwhile, their base is getting wrecked here as Winds jumps in on Zonda. Zonda just trying his best to defend here. Steak gonna drive him away. In comes the Slicing Maelstrom. Steak backs off, and that turret is still taking damage from Wind.
Yeah, so a lot of mistakes coming out here from the Taipei snipers. Oriel went in just way too early, and they're at a point of the game where they don't have the amount of items to compete on that same level. We're looking at next ABC.
I think Oriel's taunt on Sword Art was one of the big mistakes.
Yeah, I think so too, but...
And his ball, it just ran out just as he was about to reach NL.
Right. In some senses, I agree to that. Why they want to toss out Sora as opposed to, let's say, getting NL, I think it's because like they knew that NL's cooldowns were down.
Right,
and that it's like, okay, we can disable Sword Art, there's a good chance that he can just burst down NL.
That's true. I would have just thought that the taunt on NL would be more in terms of not disabling his damage, but preventing him from moving around and avoiding more spells.
I mean, there are a lot of ways of playing that one. I would have to agree.
But definitely the
decision
to dive under that turret was the wrong one, because in came Maple. He finished off next ABC in no time.
Ari is going to have, I mean, just easily he's going to have the better mid game as compared to Next. Like next ABC is going to need that team fight presence. He's going to need a ball delivery system so that he can reposition his command attack as and when he needs to, rather than use it to position the ball initially.
And they've been having so many of these skirmishes which really are in the favor of the Gamma Bears. Up at top, Zonda is, oh my goodness, I really feel bad for him. He's just getting wrecked by Steak, and it's all because of that early game lane swap really, really paying off for the Gamma Bears. And Zonda is actually going to go down here in this 1v1. Cool Guy is not looking at the Ignite at all. Steak is just going to let the Chaffro finish him off. Yeah,
oh my god, the Chaffro. That Chaffro. I still feel like they shouldn't be giving away these kind of kills. They could stick it in the base and wait it out.
Oh, the gang's
as they've always done, you know, I think Taipei snipers have this knack for just holding it out.
Oh, Winds is caught out in behind enemy lines. He's gonna get taunted here. Brought back into the turret.
Yeah, but before that already, you know, they gotta pick off a mistake with the death sentence behind there, and now God JJ is in a very dangerous position, out of mana, and with like 4 members of Gamma Bears just skirting the sides.
Gamma Bears are gonna play it safe. They're gonna just grab the turret, didn't go for the dive, even though they had Maple coming in from behind.
No, that's smart play. They need to get rid of all these outer turrets in order to create gaps for the pickoff comp to work out.
And it's going to work so well now that they've got that early Oracle. They're getting rid of wards. Maple is getting fat. I think he's got quite a fair bit of gold.
As long as they don't go into a 5-on-5 team fight, it's going to work in their favor. Ari with their Fire Grass is one of the hardest things to deal with in that mid game, especially if your opposing lane opponent doesn't bring that same amount of burst to the table, or at least not the same amount of mobility to the table.
Yep, and Orianna already is a champion that's tough to play against Ari because the Spirit Rush is such an easy way to get out of Ari's balls range.
I mean, you mean Ori's balls range?
Orianna's balls range, yeah. Ori's balls.
Ori's balls or Ari's balls.
You know whose balls I'm talking about.
I know whose balls you're talking about.
Right. But yeah, you know, Ari's great against Orianna just because of the Spirit Rush.
Yeah. In that sense, I'm really starting to think that they're going to regret with the Ori Open. Like, yeah, they still have a chance to redeem themselves. It's not over till the Fat Man sings.
Right.
Like 6k gold. Still you can hang in there. I still believe you can hang in there with 6k gold deficit. Especially if your team fight comp still looks pretty decent.
I just really like how they dealt with the counter pick of the cannon, you know.
Yeah.
They executed that lane swap really well. They managed to pick up the kill over at the bottom, and then they took the dragon like their prize, and it's really paid off here.
Yeah, the lane swap was interesting because I felt like Cannon had that edge over Zac in the lane swap.
Right.
But somehow, when they swapped back and gave the favor back to themselves by throwing Zac against Cannon.
And
Oriel gets caught there.
Oh my goodness, the damage!
Welcome to Deathfire Grass.
That was a full... I mean, okay, fine, he didn't have any magic resistance on Rammus.
Normally,
that was a Rammus,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but that's a Rammus when normally you use the defensive ball curl.
Right.
103 arm and negligence. In this case, though,
he died.
Because the charm, the charm landed. There was no time for Oriel to go into that ball.
In goes the Chains of Corruption, as well as the Elastic Slingshot. Sword Art comes in to finish off with the CC Chain, and they're going to just pick up the kills here. The Gamma Bears on a rampage. In comes the Ult, the Shockwave pulls them in. Oriel is there to follow up. He gets the taunt on.
No.
Gamma Bear's stake is going to go down, but he still has that Cell Division. Perfect use of it. Oh, the taunt onto Zonda. Zonda gets picked up there by the arrow from NL.
It's just not going to be enough at this point in time. The damage, the only output, if God JJ is dead, this means next AVC will be the only one left. If you check out Cannon's items, he's only got the Haunting Guide and the Seeker's Arm Guard. That's no way to be able to deal with the tankiness that comes on the front lines of the Gamania Bears. It's tragic.
The Gamma Bears, I mean, they are powered up like the Hulk right now.
Yeah.
Snake is not going to survive this though. He doesn't have his Cell Division anymore.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Dragon is back up. And Wins is going to start working on that straight away. He is a hard-working creature of the darkness,
he works hard
of the void.
That's right. And you know, I feel like this goal lead now coming from the Bears, it always works in favor when you are playing that pick-off comp.
Right.
And if you are playing Assassin type champions, or at least that pick-off comp, you know, which I always hop on, you want to have that big goal advantage at all times. If you're evening it out after the 17 to 20 minute mark, then it's not going well for you.
Yes,
in this case, it's like, yay, 9k, we're good, we're good.
For a second, I thought that the Azubu Taipei Assassins would be able to hold on to the goal gap a little bit longer, but they just let it expand and expand, and right now it's ballooned to the point where Gamania is able to beat them at their own game, the 5v5 battles.
It's not good for a couple of reasons. One is that map control, snipers have 0 at the moment.
Right.
They've not taken a single turret. They've not been able to contest for any objectives. But at number 2, as it stands, God JJ has been out of these fights for just all the way. You know, when Gamania Bears spot they have an opportunity to pick off either next ABC or God JJ, they're like, bam, wham, they go in, and that's it.
And the problem is right now that Oriel isn't really tanky, so the Taipei snipers are actually
he's really
lacking.
paper. Exactly.
He's really paper.
Oh, really paper, man.
They're lacking a tank, a front liner that creates the openings for Zonda to come in. Next ABC as well hasn't been able to get any of his really good shockwaves in there because there's just nobody who can withstand all of that damage that Ari's putting out.
Yeah, you can't deal with Rabadon plus Deathfire Grass at 23-minute Ari. It's just terrible.
Look at the ability power that she's
Yeah.
on. 398, that's almost 400.
What's commendable is that next ABC is still on the top farm list. He's sitting at about 250.
Right, the
He's
mid laners
racked up that
for
kill.
both of the Taipei assassins and snipers seem to be very good at this farming.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, Zonda
look
gets
at
caught
that.
out here. The Chains of Corruption get used. He's not going to be able to catch anyone in that slicing. Maelstrom doesn't have his Zonias as well. So he's going to go down. Shockwave comes in, a good one that catches out NL. But
No,
Maple is at
it.
the front lines just driving in the stake. They're going to finish them off here. God JJ tries to get away. Manages to just walk out of there.
And this is the power of vision.
Right,
Just playing the favor. You got that map control, and I think Gamania Bears, they have been playing
Oh, they know. Oh my goodness, oh real.
They played it perfect this game. They knew what they had to do. They played pick-off comp to such great success. You know, not only did they get a goal advantage and press every point they could get, but they kept their vision up at all times. Now that is something that Florida has been doing extremely well, going for the Ruby Sidestone, and then just creating opportunities all across the map. What better way to do it? They didn't have to waste the Zac, you know, gap close, or even the Nocturne Paranoia until the very last second. Just because they had vision, NL's utility as Varus spiked up. Now that is an important play coming from them.
That was a great catch onto Zonda, getting rid of that very powerful ultimate, that slicing Maelstrom.
You just can't re-engage and try to go for that 5v5 fight when you've been engaged on by Chains of Corruption. It's almost impossible to do that.
Especially not when you've been caught without a Zonia's
Hourglass. Definitely.
And yes, you're right. I mean, your team is forced to back away from you unless they all get locked down as well.
Right. So in this case, Gamania Bears, they are playing this just perfectly. I feel like they really show lots of potential here up against TPS.
Right. They might be the ones coming from the losers bracket, but they definitely don't look like it.
Yeah,
These
they
guys
were thrown into the losers bracket, if I'm not mistaken, by the YE Spiders in the first round, which they
was
were.
it the first round?
Yeah, I mean because they were seeded in,
Okay.
so they didn't have to play some of their earlier matches. But the YE Spiders kind of kicked them out, and they were thrown into the losers bracket. They had to climb their way through.
And right now it feels like deja vu as the Gamma Bears do exactly what HQ did. They go for that split push, and they also have.
They can do that.
Yeah, some great split pushing champions, Zac and Ari, tough to lock down.
Yeah, and whoever they sent to fight against Ari at their current state, in no way is she going to lose that fight. Her AP now skyrocket. She has picked up the Seeker's Arm Guard just for the extra armor. You can't go wrong with extra armor when you're under turrets.
475 ability power. Zonda getting caught by the elastic slingshot.
Yeah. And it's only a matter of time.
Look at the pink wards here.
Because you can never get enough vision, you know?
Yeah, there's 4 wards in this tight area. And Maple is just going to look for that execute. Oriel looking to start a fight. He's going to go for the taunt on Stake. Stake gets pulled into the base. In comes the Chains of Corruption. God JJ takes a little bit of poke. But it seems like Stake here is going to be the one going down. He gets picked up. Meanwhile, Ari and the rest of the team are just going to be content to back off. They don't really want to force anything here.
That was nicely done, though, I think, by the Azubu Taipei snipers. I thought that Maple would have pressured out that bottom lane because he was already there in the first place. But he didn't, and that gave Taipei snipers a free concession.
I think, yeah, that was the issue there, is that all the players went up to that top lane.
Trying to save Stake. But they could have, what they could have done to make it worse, because they still have that Baron buff.
Yes.
We can just shove the rest of those lanes and kind of create pressure. You know,
they probably wouldn't have taken out a turret looking at how high their health is, but they could have definitely gotten a good amount of damage in there.
That's what they need to do now. They need to chip it off, because as this game goes later and later and they allow TPS to recover, I don't think that's how they want to play it. It's going to be to their disadvantage, if anything.
Right. I think that there is going to be quite some strong team fight potential coming up from the Taipei snipers here. So
that's all they really care about, I think. It's about those team fights. So
that top turret is looking really, really weak.
It's juicy though, yeah. It is a juicy target, and I think Azubu Taipei snipers can play it to their advantage. They know that Gamania Bears, they are just craving that top base turret.
I wonder how they're going to mount the defense for this. They don't have the slicing maelstrom up yet. It's going to be back in about 20 seconds.
I think it'll be up in time.
All right, so they just need to make sure that Zonda doesn't get caught. He still doesn't have his Zonias.
5-man. Now this is what I think is a solution. The 5-man bulldoze alongside the Baron buff. Yeah, I could see that.
Oh, they got Zonda. Zonda's going to go down in a blast. He gets picked up. Now Oriole's in trouble. Steak is sticking to him. Mistake will go down as well. Maple is just melting faces. And in comes the rest of the team to just clean the house out.
A brilliant engage there by NL. He got it at the very tip of the chain of corruption and hit on the Zonda.
Oh,
very unfortunate.
I was just saying how Zonda cannot afford to get caught.
Right.
And just as I did,
hey.
I jinxed it, right? Damn.
Damn. But with that in mind, Gamania will be able to just mess up the base.
And they're just going to run through here uninhibited. The inhibitors are not doing their job. They're not inhibiting.
They can't do anything.
What are you doing?
So 2 lanes pushed up, the top and the mid, very vulnerable. They just dropped that Baron buff, so amazing use of that last few ticks for the Baron buff.
They're gonna grab the dragon as well, just like a little bit of extra icing on the top of the cake.
Yeah, and with all these surviving items coming from Ari's, like she finished up the Zonia's Hourglass. That's it. She'll be able to pick. Now she'll be the one who can go to the back lines, create ample opportunities just by picking off next ABC and Zonda. I think they're set. They're set.
606 damage. What is up with that ability power? That is
AP? Yeah.
At 30 minutes into the game, she's just.
They're closing it off now. They
insanely painful.
Right. They bought the Elixir of Brilliance. Ari bought the Elixir of Brilliance, and that's a good signal. Let's close the game, is what she's saying.
All she needs to do is make sure she doesn't get caught here, which she can, because there's enough warding for her to do that.
Right, so Azubu Taipei snipers, their saving grace really is to try to stay inside that base and turtle it up.
Right, you can see they're going to go for it. They're going to try to do some kind of backstab strategy. They can't defend from the base because then Gamma Bears are going to be too prepared for that.
Yeah.
So they're instead going to try to go behind the enemy, try to catch them off guard. Problem is though,
the base, if they want to do that though, I feel like they need to wait until the inhibitors are back up again.
Yes, at least till then.
Because right now, their best bet, I think, is to defend the base as tight as possible. And under these 2 Nexus turrets, make a play. They've got Sona, Cannon, and Oriana. Something can come out of that if they get the right position. It's going to be a bit of luck and a whole lot of coordination.
But obviously time is on the side of the Gamma Bears here because they've got 2 sets of minions pushing in towards the base of the Taipei snipers.
Yeah, not
all they have to do is just sit tight and watch and wait as the super minions do their job. Instead, we're going to see Steak possibly go in. He's charging that elastic slingshot, decides against it. I think, he's not going to just go in recklessly.
There's just not enough space for them to play. I think because Oriole isn't able to go under that tower. He hasn't built a single big ticket tank item. So no Spirit of the Ancient Golem, no Sunfires, not even a Locket of the Iron Solari.
Steak is just gonna...
He's basically...
in goes the Chains of Corruption. Next ABC gets caught out. Gamania's NL pops his pledge. Down goes Mistake, and this is going to be content to pick up that single kill. Maple is zoning them out right now. Takes some damage from God JJ, but he gets out of range immediately. Oh, beautiful shockwave. In goes Zonda. Zonda, are you going to go in? He's going to pop the slicing maelstrom. Now he's finally... Does he have his zoning? No, he still does not. No, he does. He just popped it, but he's still going to go down. Maple is going to just finish him off there. And despite what looked to be a great shockwave, the base is going to go down here. Winds is going to just start working on that. God JJ gets pulled back into the fight. Maple pops his Zonias to stay alive. And they're just going to finish off the Nexus there.
Yeah, I mean,
for a pretty simple game for them.
What can I say? That just went so much in favor of the pickoff comp that Gamania wanted to run. Even when Zonda got that Zonias, it wasn't making a difference. He was so far behind in items. Look at that, 8.1k goal as opposed to 12,000. That's a whole 4k behind Zach.
Sounded almost like a romantic story there. When Zonda met Zonia.
When Zonda met Zonia.
Unfortunately, it didn't come out quite as well as he wanted to. He got that really, really late into the game. That was 33 minutes before he picked up that item, and he didn't even have a Liantries. All he built was the Haunting Guys.
Yeah, it's like two old people falling in
Right.
love. That's terrible.
And
It's a bit too late. And
what's terrible about
What?
two old people falling in love, Elliot?
They only have a few years left together.
Oh,
Oh,
damn.
no.
I guess that
So-
was how it was between Zonda and Zonia. But anyways,
Oriel, yeah, I want to talk about Oriel. They,
yeah, I
yeah.
just don't feel like his build worked out for him.
It
What do you
didn't,
think he
it
was
didn't.
trying to go with the Crystalline Flask? Crystalline Flask, it'll help you stay in the jungle a little bit longer, so possibly you'll be able to farm out minions and come out for ganks a little bit healthier.
Yes. Rammus doesn't have the best sustaining jungle, like you
Right.
were saying. So yes, the Crystalline Flask does allow for quick succession of ganks within that same, before you go back to base period.
Yes,
But
yes.
for that to work out, you need to be able to get the ganks off.
Well, he
So-
was hovering around a lot at
It's not
bottom lane.
easy. Yeah, it's not easy when you got Ahri, Zac, Nocturne, and even Thresh Varus to think about. Because if you go under any of those turrets, remember he did pick up the early Madred's Razor, and Madred's Razor gives you armor,
Yes.
which is good for turret dives. Better than some of the other items like Spirit of the Ancient Golem. No armor, just regen.
These
right?
Wombo combo team compositions don't seem to be working out for the Taipei
I really
snipers
feel-
and the Taipei
yeah.
assassins. It's just
I really feel, no, please don't let anyone have Zac in the next few games. He is crazy.
Well-
He can be behind, and then,
well, TPA did
Yeah.
get Zac, and they didn't really.
well, yeah, there are many reasons as to why they had Zac and they lost. But
Right.
in this case, they picked up Orianna, who is a brilliant pick. Don't get me wrong, I love Orianna as a pick. It's just that the draft went in so many weird ways. They
Right.
gave up two very strong picks. They gave up Zac and Thresh.
Yes.
And those things allow you to make a lot of mid-game plays. That's something which, I don't know, TPS had no answer for because they couldn't snowball.
So we are going to head into a short break. This is a best of 5. Right now, the score between the Gamma Bears and the Taipei Snipers is 1-1.
1-1.
So we'll see you guys in a bit.
Bam.